This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard, hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for us on your podcast provider.
The race for a coronavirus vaccine has hit a major milestone. The UK government has secured early access to 90 million doses of what the government calls promising vaccines being developed globally. That's on top of the 100 million doses of the Oxford University vaccine that's showing signs of offering double protection against COVID-19. But it's all coming with a warning to temper expectations. We're moving at an unprecedented rate, but a widely available vaccine could still be many months away, if it comes at all. Our editorial column says we're still in the middle of a pandemic and we can't be complacent.
If a vaccine was available that could limit the threat of coronavirus, we'd want to get hold of it fast. The government is doing the right thing by spending heavily now to buy millions of doses of promising vaccines, even though we don't know if they will work or if the money will be wasted. But even if it is safe, will it limit infection for long? Will it be potent enough to help the elderly? Will COVID-19 prove as elusive as the common cold and keep changing to dodge efforts to wipe it out? What we do know is that short of a treatment to limit the health impact of COVID or a vaccine to restrict its spread, social distancing will have to go on. Australia, Japan and Israel, countries which did brilliantly to restrict a first wave, are now being hit by new spikes. So a vaccine would be applauded worldwide, which points to one other thing which matters. It's not just the rich world that will need it. Britain can afford to stock up in case one works, but we must make sure the developing world isn't priced out in the race to escape the disease.
The Evening Standard's Nicolas Cecil joins me now. Nick, is this a moment for celebration?
There's some positive, optimistic news on coronavirus. It's been pretty grim for many weeks and months. But there's certainly, on the vaccine and drugs development front, there seems to be possibly some progress. The big major breakthrough this afternoon is that Oxford University scientists have successfully now passed the second phase of developing a new vaccine. So the first phase is whether it's to do with safety. So that's my understanding that that's been passed. And the second phase is about immune response, how people respond. And so their vaccine has shown that it does lead to neutralizing antibodies and also to some T-cell protection. Now, it's not clear how much protection you would get from this vaccine being developed by Oxford University together with AstraZeneca, for example, how long it would last and the degree of protection. But certainly it's got through the second phase. Now it goes to the third phase, which is actually trialling this vaccine in the community, large-scale trials in the community to see how it will actually work.
How likely is it that one of these three vaccines will be successful?
Yeah, there are actually more than 3 vaccines being developed across the world. There are 20 or so projects underway at least. And the hope is at least one or a combination of them will turn out to be successful. A lot of them are not expected to deliver the sought-after protection. Some may not deliver any protection, others may deliver such limited protection that it's not deemed sufficient. But in terms of what was announced today, the government announced that they were doing deals with 2 other groups, one with the US-German partnership BioNTech Pfizer for 30 million doses of its vaccine, and an agreement in principle with the French group Valneva for 60 million of its vaccine under development. Obviously, a lot of these vaccines need large-scale trials now, and another development today was the government announcing that it was seeking to recruit 500,000 people in the UK to take part in clinical trials for new vaccines as they come through the trials system. There's also another interesting development which raises hope, and this is from scientists at Southampton University. They have trialled a drug, interferon beta SNG001. They're saying that in 79% of cases, there was that lowered the risk of people already ill with coronavirus ending up needing ventilator treatment or something similar to a ventilator treatment.
Right, so some big developments happening there. Do we have a sense of what the timeline looks like for these vaccines? Could we have one by Christmas, or will it be early next year, or could we have to wait a lot longer than that?
Certainly, I think the optimistic outlook is to have a vaccine passing its third phase trials, i.e. the trials in the community, by the autumn. That's what Oxford University is certainly hoping for. And then you've got to roll it out, and obviously that will take some time. The government basically are trying to be as ready as possible. So they've already ordered 100 million doses of this vaccine from AstraZeneca. So if it does work, they can roll it out as quickly as possible. But it certainly looks like for a number of the autumn-winter months, it's unlikely to be there on any large scale in the population.
And you mentioned there we need an army of volunteers, 500,000 people. How crucial is this that people sign up?
Well, this is crucial because the second phase, you do that on a smaller number of people, and that shows you whether if you get an immune response from the vaccine. But then you've got to take the vaccine out into different settings to see how it would work with different populations. So it's only once you've actually done the third one that you can be certain of basically giving it the go-ahead.